Hello and welcome to This Week in AI, where we try to make sense of this rapidly evolving technological hellscape. And trust me, this week, hellscape might be an understatement. From self-driving cars that may or may not be programmed to mow you down on the sidewalk to algorithms that can write Shakespearean sonnets about the mating habits of squirrels, AI is everywhere. So, buckle up, because we're diving headfirst into the latest AI news, from groundbreaking advancements to the ethical quandaries that'll keep you up at night. And if you're watching this from beyond the singularity, please send help, or at least better Wi-Fi. First up, let's talk about OpenAI, the folks who brought us ChatGPT, the chatbot that's simultaneously revolutionizing homework and making teachers question the very fabric of reality. Now, rumors are swirling about their latest creation, ChatGPT 5. And if the leaks are to be believed, it's less of an upgrade and more of a technological leap of faith off a very tall building. We're talking real-time internet access, a memory that would make an elephant jealous, and even an AI voice assistant that can probably write a better stand-up routine than most working comedians. Now I know what you're thinking. John, is this the beginning of the robot uprising we've all been promised? Should I start stockpiling canned goods and learning how to speak binary? And the answer is, maybe. Look, nobody knows for sure what the future holds, especially with AI developing faster than a sugar-crazed toddler in a candy store. But one thing's for sure, ChatGPT 5 has the potential to be a game-changer. Imagine a world where your AI assistant can not only write your emails but also negotiate your salary, order your groceries, and maybe even convince your landlord to finally fix that leaky faucet. Next up, we're hopping over to Google because apparently they weren't content with just knowing what you had for breakfast thanks to your search history. Their DeepMind team has been hard at work on something called Gemini Ultra, an AI model so advanced it can practically predict what you're going to say before you even think it. This thing isn't just trained on a massive data set of text and code, it's designed to actually mimic human thinking. We're talking reasoning, planning, and maybe even a little light philosophy on the weekends. Now, the race to develop the most powerful AI is heating up faster than a microwave burrito, and with Gemini Ultra, Google might just be taking the lead. They're claiming it can solve complex problems, generate creative content, and even understand your emotions better than your own mother. So while this could lead to some incredible advancements in medicine, science, and maybe even a self-cleaning house, it also begs the question, who's really in control here? Is it us, the humble humans, or the all-knowing, all-seeing algorithms we've created? Honestly, it's getting harder and harder to tell. Right, so, apparently the robots are coming for our Spotify playlists now. And look, I know what you're thinking, John, I've seen robots try to dance, it's less Footloose and more Frankenstein trying to put on socks. But this is different. This AI-generated song, and I use the term song loosely, has actually gone viral on TikTok. Now I'm not going to subject you to it because frankly I'm not allowed to listen to anything that wasn't recorded on a cassette tape before the year 2000. But millions of kids these days with their TikToks and their fidget spinners seem to love it. Which begs the question, is this the future of music? Are we all doomed to listen to algorithmically generated earworms for the rest of our days? Look, I'm not a music expert, I'm just a man who once cried real tears listening to a Nickelback song in a moment of weakness. But even I can tell you there's something a bit off about AI music. It's like listening to a computer program try to explain a joke, technically proficient but utterly devoid of soul. Of course, this whole AI music thing has sparked a bit of a debate. Some artists, those who probably haven't updated their MySpace pages since 2007, are calling it the future. They're excited about the potential for collaboration, about using AI as a tool to break new creative ground. Which is adorable, really. Like watching a baby deer try to befriend a combine harvester. Meanwhile, others, the ones who still remember what it feels like to pour their heart and soul into their music, are, understandably, a little more apprehensive. They see AI as a threat, a soulless algorithm coming for their gigs, their livelihoods, their very existence. And honestly, who can blame them? Imagine spending years honing your craft only to have some silicon-based upstart come along and churn out a chart topper in milliseconds. The music industry is already brutal enough without throwing robots into the mix. Alright, buckle up everyone because we're about to wade into the dystopian nightmare that is the future of employment. Forget robot overlords, the real threat is much more mundane robots taking our jobs. And not just any jobs, mind you, but jobs that require years of education, training, and crippling student loan debt. This week, a major law firm announced they're replacing some of their junior lawyers with AI. That's right, folks, the legal profession, a field practically built on billing clients for every minute you spend breathing, is turning to robots. And before you ask, yes, they will be programmed to send passive-aggressive emails and make terrible coffee, just like their human counterparts. Apparently, this AI is supposed to be a whiz at legal research, capable of poring over mountains of case files and spitting out relevant precedents faster than you can say billable hours. Which, on the one hand, sounds kind of impressive. But on the other hand, it also sounds like the opening scene of a Black Mirror episode where robots eventually take over the legal system and sentence us all to death for jaywalking. Now, I'm no lawyer, I just play one on TV whenever I need to get out of a speeding ticket. But even I can see the potential problems here. What happens to all those freshly minted lawyers who are suddenly replaced by an algorithm? Do they just become Uber drivers with law degrees? Or are they forced to wander the streets offering legal advice to pigeons in exchange for scraps of bread? And let's not forget the human cost of all this automation. Sure, robots might be faster and more efficient, but they'll never be able to replicate the empathy, the critical thinking, the sheer ting ability of a real, live lawyer. What happens when you're facing a complex legal battle and all you have to rely on is a cold, unfeeling algorithm? Look, I'm all for technological advancement, but maybe, just maybe, we should pump the brakes on the whole replacing humans with robots thing before we end up living in a world where the only jobs left are robot repair technician and therapists specializing in existential dread caused by robot overlords. Alright, so we've all been to the doctor, right? You sit in that paper gown, feeling ridiculous, while they poke and prod you with the enthusiasm of a bored toddler poking at a dead fly. And then comes the waiting game, wondering if that weird rash is just eczema or, flesh-eating bacteria. Well, buckle up, because the future of healthcare might just involve fewer flesh-eating bacteria diagnoses from bored toddlers. This week, researchers unveiled an AI system that can diagnose cancer with 98% accuracy. And listen, I'm no doctor, but 98% sounds a hell of a lot better than whatever my chances are of correctly guessing what kind of cheese is in a fondue pot. This AI is no joke. It's learning to read medical images, analyze lab results, and even predict patient outcomes faster than a pack of ravenous raccoons can demolish an unattended picnic basket. Think about it. Faster diagnoses, quicker treatment plans, and maybe, just maybe, more time for doctors to actually talk to their patients without looking at them like a malfunctioning Roomba. And let's be honest, wouldn't you rather get a life-altering diagnosis from a calm, collected AI than from a doctor who looks like they haven't slept since the invention of penicillin? I know I would. Now, before you go full-blown sci-fi panic and start prepping for a future ruled by robot doctors with questionable bedside manners, let's be clear, this doesn't mean human doctors are going the way of the dodo, at least not yet. Think of AI as the overachieving med student who's really good at memorizing textbooks but still needs to learn how to, actually interact with a human being without short-circuiting. They're there to assist, to provide data, and to maybe free up some time for doctors to actually be doctors. And who knows, maybe this AI revolution will finally force insurance companies to, and I can't stress this enough, cover things they should have been covering all along. Imagine a world where your insurance actually pays for preventative care instead of just arguing with you about the definition of medically necessary while you're literally having a medical emergency. It's a bold vision, I know, but a man can dream. And hey, if an AI can diagnose cancer with 98% accuracy, maybe it can also figure out how to navigate the labyrinthine hellscape that is the American healthcare system. Well, folks, we've reached the end of another wild ride through the wacky world of artificial intelligence. This week alone, we've seen AI do everything from composing chart-topping pop songs to potentially replacing lawyers, which, let's be honest, is a move that's sure to make someone's enemies list. Probably mine, now that I think about it. We learned about OpenAI's ChatGPT 5, which is rumored to be so advanced it can probably write a better script than what I'm working with right now. We delved into Google's Gemini Ultra, an AI so smart it could probably solve a Rubik's Cube while simultaneously writing a symphony and winning a game of chess. And we grappled with the very real possibility that AI might just take over the world, starting with the music industry, and then moving on to, well, everything else. It's enough to make your head spin faster than a Roomba on a sugar rush, but hey, that's the price of progress, right? Or at least that's what I tell myself every time I try to understand how these algorithms actually work, and end up feeling like I'm trying to decipher ancient hieroglyphics after a bottle of tequila. But hey, even if we don't fully understand it, we can't deny that AI is changing the world right before our very eyes. And whether you find that prospect exciting, terrifying, or a healthy mix of both, one thing's for sure, it's not slowing down anytime soon. So what does the future hold for AI? Honestly, your guess is as good as mine. For all we know, next week we could be talking about AI chefs that can whip up Michelin-worthy meals in minutes, AI therapists that can actually understand the existential dread of the modern human condition, or AI politicians that are programmed to always tell the truth, which, let's be honest, would either be the greatest invention in human history, or the catalyst for the apocalypse. The point is, the possibilities are as endless as they are potentially terrifying. But instead of cowering in fear of our robot overlords, let's try to embrace the unknown, shall we? After all, if AI does end up taking over the world, we'll want to be on their good side. So stay curious, stay informed, and most importantly, stay tuned. Because trust me, you haven't seen anything yet. This AI train is leaving the station and it's not stopping for anyone. And if you're lucky, maybe, just maybe, it'll pick up some snacks along the way. I'm partial to those little pretzels with the salt crystals on them, just saying. Well, that's the show, folks. We hope you enjoyed this whirlwind tour through the latest and greatest AI breakthroughs. Remember, the future is being written in algorithms, and it's up to all of us to pay attention. Which AI update shocked you the most? Let's talk in the comments.